Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be looking a little bit more into Mega Heracross. So if you haven't already seen my latest video where we attempted a solo Mega Heracross raid, we managed to get a shiny, our first shiny from a solo Mega raid or solo legendary raid. So that is a really cool video. Make sure to go check it out on my channel right now. But today we're going to be looking into the actual usefulness of Mega Heracross. So to do this, we're just going to quickly evolve one of our Mega Heracrosses and see its typing and talk a little bit more about it in depth. So we're going to go for this 96 Best Buddy Male Shiny Heracross. So this was from a lucky trade, 13, 15, 15. So the attack isn't all the way, unfortunately, but it is a really cool Mega to have nonetheless. So in terms of Mega Heracross, its typings is Bug and Fighting. So it is one of the only Megas that don't change typing. When it does Mega Evolve, it doesn't gain an extra one. Normal Heracross, as you can see there, is standard Bug and Fighting, and it remains that typing throughout. So in terms of a Bug type Pokemon, Mega Heracross is now #1 in the game. So it beats currently Mega Pinsir in the game, and it is really good as a Bug type. The only downside is Bug types as an overall don't really have too much usefulness in Pokemon Go at the moment. Things that tend to be weak to Bug are also weak to other things, which are also easier to get hold of or even better as a raid attacker. So Bug just sort of sits there as a backup option if you haven't got those other typings again to use against what you're raiding against. But in terms of in the future, there is going to be a few raid bosses. Salarex is one of them off the top of my head that are going to be solely weak to Bug. So then it will become really useful as a Bug type. But it is #1 Bug type in the game. That is up until Shadow Volcarona comes out, if it ever does come out. So Shadow Volcarona will eventually possibly come out in the distant future. But when that eventually becomes a thing, then Heracross will move down to second best Bug type. But at the moment, it's not a thing, and Mega Heracross is #1 Bug type. And that's a moveset that you need to have on it if you want to set it up as a Bug type. So it's Struggle Bug as its fast move, and then Mega Horn as its charge move. In terms of DPS ratings as a Bug type, Mega Heracross will outperform Mega Pinsir in pretty much every aspect. So in terms of Bug, DPS is 28.524 for Mega Heracross, and its time on the field. So this is a study against a Psychic type Pokemon, so neutral damage and also no dodging is involved. So this has been run through an estimator, and the DPS is 28.524 as we said before, and the total time on the field for Mega Heracross would be 33.86 seconds. Comparison to Mega Pinsir, its DPS is 27.412 and its time on the field would be 30.39. So both of those, both the DPS and the time on the field for Mega Pinsir are quite a bit less against Mega Heracross. So Mega Heracross outperforms it in DPS and also time on the field. So that is a really good sign that Mega Heracross is going to be a really good Bug type Pokemon. Like I say, #1 at the moment. Keep an eye out if we ever release Shadow Volcarona. But in terms of a fighting type, this is where it gets a little bit interesting, because fighting is really useful in Pokemon Go as a typing. It is really good against a lot of raid bosses, and it is also good against the Rockets and so forth like that. But as Mega Heracross is primarily known to be a Bug type, fighting type, it is actually #1 as well. So Mega Heracross comes into the game as its Pokemon Go debut as being the #1 best Bug type and also the #1 best fighting type. So the moveset you need to put for your Mega Heracross if you want it as a fighting type is Counter and also Close Combat. So Close Combat does eventually get up there as the best fighting move in the game, but only for Mega Heracross. So if ever Mega Heracross gets a different moveset than Close Combat, if ever it gets Aura Sphere, for instance, but Mega Lucario can, well, Lucario can learn. Mega Lucario unreleased as of yet, but Lucario can learn Aura Sphere, which makes it a really, really good fighting type in the game. If ever Mega Heracross gets that, then it is definitely going to blow all the fighting out of the water. But it is number 1, and that is up until Mega Lucario gets released. Now, when Mega Lucario gets released, Mega Lucario will have a higher DPS than Mega Heracross as a fighting type. So as a neutral setup yet again, so against a rock type is an estimator with no dodging involved, Mega Heracross will have a DPS of 31.324, whereas the time on the field is 33.86. And that is against Mega Lucario when that eventually gets released. That will have a DPS rating of 37.524, so a lot higher than the 31.324 of Mega Heracross. And time on the field, though, for Lucario is only 24.66 seconds, comparison to time on the field of Mega Heracross of 33.86. So Mega Heracross stays on the field for a lot longer, but does slightly less damage than Mega Lucario. So for that instinct, and for that reason, it is better to have Mega Lucario as a fighting type in Pokemon Go if you are doing raids on your own. So if you're doing solo raids or doing rocket battles, Mega Lucario will be the number 1 fighting type in Pokemon Go. If you're raiding within a group and other people in that group are using fighting types, then Mega Heracross will still be the number 1 fighting type even after Mega Lucario has been released. So that is all to do with its time on the field, and obviously Mega Heracross will give boost to those other fighting type attackers on the field as well for a lot longer than Mega Lucario will be. So as a total, it will do a lot more damage over the course of a raid if you group raiding with other people using fighting type Pokemon than it would if it would Lucario, because Lucario would faint sooner. So the logic is pretty much sound. This is all done by T-Ban. He is really, really good at these estimators, really, really good at these graphics. I'll make sure to drop a link on his description on all of this and how Mega Heracross makes a really big impact in Pokemon Go. I'll leave a link of that in the description so you can check that out for yourself. But thanks very much for watching. It's really, really been surprising how Mega Heracross is mixed up the meta in both bug and fighting types in Pokemon Go. Make sure to drop a like on the video if you found this really useful. Make sure to power up those Heracrosses if you managed to get a good one during raid day the other day. I'm definitely going to be powering up some of these lucky Megas, lucky shiny ones that I've got. So make sure to keep an eye out for them when I'm using them in raid battles in the future on further videos. Thanks very much for watching. Like and subscribe. Hopefully you found this very, very interesting, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.